better part of 7, 8, 9 months, man. So
Dude,
I'm
man.
just excited.
And before then, before then, honestly.
Hey, man,
And
look,
Chris, we did a show a while back, a long time ago, didn't we? Like maybe like a Braves show.
I mean, it was a while. I mean, we had got some Braves talk in and whatnot. But shoot, man, I understand. It just been, everybody been moving and shaking and doing their thing. So it gets tough, man. It gets tough.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I can cross this one off my bucket list. I was looking forward to it because I see John, and every time we'd have him on the show and we talk Braves, John would get that look on his face like, oh yeah, and I'd be like, I gotta get him on there. I gotta get him on there. Robert Blackman says, good morning, gentlemen.
What up, Robert?
Jamal D says, yo,
Jamal,
what's going on? We are talking Braves this morning. So, Chris, we've just gotten to the point to where we're talking about our pitchers. Well, some of our 4th and 5th starter candidates might be a better way of saying that, right? So we were talking Bryce Elder, and John and I said, please and no thank you. We've seen enough. And no disrespect to him.
Listen. You know how I feel about Bryce Elder. Honestly, he would have never, if we didn't have injuries, the man would never see stardom in it. Like, to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, that's no disrespect to him. Bryce, and then I think I walked in on it. But Bryce, he definitely worked his butt off. It's just, sometimes you get bad Bryce, sometimes you get good Bryce. It's tough, man. It's real tough. He's had some good quality work for the Braves, but let's just be honest. It's been times to where we've thrown something at the TV looking at Bryce Elder pitch.
Oh yeah,
so
man.
It's just it's up and down about him. It's up and down.
Yeah, I think for him too, he may be best suited for maybe like a middle relief type of thing, where because it seems like with him, you get through second, third part of the lineup. If he's in there that long, that's when he starts having issues too. Like they just start teeing off on him.
Yeah. All right. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I think the council voted no on Bryce Elder. That's a no. All right. So Ian Anderson, let's talk about it now. Ian had a great year in 2021. Matter of fact, threw a no hitter in the World Series. It was a weird no hitter because
I'm about to go into the shop.
You said what now?
Oh, my bad, y'all. I'm out and about. Somebody was just asking me a question.
No worries. So, Ian Anderson, John, give me your thoughts on Ian. I know that he had Tommy John surgery. 2023?
Yes,
I want to say
so. I think so. Yeah. Because he came back.
Didn't make it up last year. Just give me your thoughts on if he has a chance to make this roster this year.
I think he does. I don't know if it's more me just wanting to believe he does, because I was a huge fan of his in 20. Because he does have a lights out changeup. He does have a secondary pitch that's just ridiculous. And he throws 95, 96. That's where he topped out at, I think, right before he had TJ. So I think he threw a curve as well. So it's like he's a guy who I think, and he's been in the World Series, like at the biggest stage. Like, he's done it, right? Like, as pressure wise, he can't get any more than what he's already experienced. So mentally, he has to know, like, I can do this. Like, it's in me. I can do this. I just got to get, and so how he rebounds from Tommy John, which, I mean, most of the folks, these days come back sometimes even stronger. Sometimes they've added a few miles an hour to their velo. So I want to believe that not that Tommy John's ever a good thing, but almost like that was like a reset for him.
Right.
Like it was like, take the time off, almost like, here we go. We start from scratch. Let's build this back up. This is all in the past now. Like the what went bad, but hey, let's move on from now. Because he has like you said, that 5th starter. And in general, just the depth. You go 1-2 guys go down, you're going to have people step up, young guys, or just somebody like Ian who's been there, done that. He'll have his opportunity to cement himself in the squad if he can take a hold of it. So I want to believe he can be there and be that guy, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Chris, give me your thoughts on Ian Anderson.
Oh man, John just really like laid it out perfectly. Honestly, I would love to see if there's any possible way for him really to bounce back from this Tommy John, because I mean Ian Anderson, I mean we got to give him his credit. At one point in time, we thought we had like a real deal gunner when it comes to like pitching when we were looking at Ian Anderson when he had that great year a couple years ago, and then he just has not been the same. But honestly, we're gonna with the bullpen that we have, with the pitching that we have, everyone who is on the Braves roster right now is going to get a shot. You know, everyone is going to get a shot. And Ian, he has the opportunity to try to resurrect his career from the standpoint of being like labeled as an ace type player. And shoot, man, moving forward, I just want to see what we're going to be able to do because we have so many holes to fill and it's a lot going on. But with the pitching, the pitching is what it is as far as like the personnel. I don't believe the Braves are going to be able to bring anybody else back, bring anybody else in. And I don't want to give up on the Dylan Cease thing, but it's just, fellas, we know how Alex is, okay? We know how the Braves organization is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, do I really believe that we're going to get Dylan Cease? I got like a glimmer of hope. But honestly, man, we already know money talks. And if you don't have enough of it, you just don't get the player.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what T-Will and I were talking about. It's like, dude, it's so annoying because Liberty Media's got more money than God, and we could go get whoever we wanted. You know what I mean? If they let him.
But that's what I'm saying. Aren't we? I thought we was our own entity now. I thought we got from under Liberty Media.
Did we? I don't know.
We did.
Okay. All right.
We did.
Well, never mind.
But even still, with that, it's like it's only a certain threshold the Braves are willing to cross right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
like regardless of what Alex talking about, it's only a certain threshold they're willing to, you know.
Yeah.
Did y'all see? I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, T-Will. Did y'all see the? I think it was just a quick article that some owners are proposing they may try to do a salary cap. Yeah.
That you do that, and you're probably going to have a strike.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah, because I mean, the players are never going to. Why would they?
I didn't see this person right here. I was going to get right here.
You muted him. Okay, he muted himself. All right, so I don't see, and I'd be remiss if Ian Anderson is out of minor league options, which means if you send him down, he might not come back. In other words, if he's out of minor leagues options, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but if a player is out of minor league options and he doesn't make your team, he has to clear waivers, does he not? Another team can pick him up, correct? Yeah. So, and I believe the same is true for Bryce Elder, but let me. I could be wrong. Let me check.
Man, it feels like it should be.
It feels like it, but let me see.
Travis, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Ladarius, what's up, buddy?
Give me a few minutes, fellas. I'm dropping my truck off. 1 minute.
No worries, man. No worries. Yeah. So it looks like I think Bryce is out of options as well. So one of those, I'd venture one of those is not going to make it.
Yeah.
So you might see a late preseason trade, with Bryce or Ian. I honestly, I'm not going to say it's the same thing as Bryce because Ian helped us win a World Series.
Mm-hmm.
So he is always going to have a place in my heart. I'd be lying if I didn't say that, but I don't see a path back from what he would need to do.
Yeah.
Which would be to find another secondary pitch, right?
Right.
I just don't see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could happen. I could be wrong. You know,
because right now,
happened before.
Totally. Because right now, guys can just sit like, okay, if they recognize the changeup, just don't swing.
Sit on it, right?
Yeah,
and just sit on. I'm gonna ignore your fastball, right?
Exactly.
And unless you give them a reason to, it's not going to get better. So I mean, again, look. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, and look, we're old enough, and like I don't know if Chris is old enough, but can remember like guys, guys aren't given the time they were used to be given.
Correct.
So like so many, because this is like quarterbacks in the NFL. Like rookies come in, like everybody develops a little bit differently. Like the light bulb may go off 2-3 years into the league. Same thing with pitchers. Like Glavine was terrible his first year. Smoltz was terrible his first year. I mean, terrible, right? Like, I mean, these are guys that, I mean, Smoltz, that's why one reason he got traded. Like he was so bad in Detroit. They're like, yeah, well, it was good. They thought they won that trade when that happened.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's just today is so competitive where they're going to bring the young guys up, and if they succeed, then great. But that's what the other guys that may not, it may not click 2 years down the road. That's what they're fighting against. That's what they're competing against. So, that's why it's like I think it's with Ian, like with Bryce, it's like you've seen the entire arsenal. You know what it is. We've seen it. It's like with Ian, it's like we know he's got some top end stuff. It's just like mentally, maybe his, like I said, that first year was like we talked about, like you talked about earlier. People hadn't seen him before. He's got this big over the top elite, that's coming at you, big guy, devastating changeup. So maybe the league was like, hold on, what is this? And then they kind of adjusted to it. Some things happened with Ian mentally or physically with his delivery, and it just went off. So now it's like you've seen those things with Ian, so it's like you want to think they could come back. You know what I'm saying? But that, like I said, that's just the nature of the league, though. I mean, and fans want to see production immediately. So it's like and I get it, I totally get it. But just some guys don't all of a sudden click like that sometimes.
Do you think? Because you bring up an interesting point. In today's league of hustle and bustle and hey man, let's get him in here, get him in, get it out, move him out, raw hide, let's keep it going. Do you think that you can damage some guys' confidence by bringing them up too quickly? And do you think that happens?
100%, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, because you bring a guy up, he gets shelled his first outing or second out. I mean, you want to say like, because we look at it as like not almost like they're robots. Right. It's like, oh, well, just he just needs to forget about it and come back. Yeah, that's easy to say.
Correct.
But when you're in front of the world, in front of a stadium full of people and you're on TV and you just get embarrassed in your first outing, it's not as easy just to say like, all right, well, I'm gonna move on. Like it's great if you can,
right?
And that's and that's the discussion I've had with Liam over and over and over again. Is like, dude, every level you go, it's gonna be harder. Every level every age group you move up, the guys get better and better and better. So mentally, like you've got to be able to understand you're going to have really bad days. You're going to have days you go out there and get shelled. Right. It's like, how do you respond from those days? That's what's important. Like, or how do you respond on the mound? Like, are you going to have bad body language on the mound? Are you going to like, it's like, whether you're showing your coach or the umpire, like all that stuff that's got to be in here. You know what I mean? So like, and he's done a really, look, he gave up in 12U, he gave up a walk-off home run. And he threw it. I mean, the kid just. I mean, he threw an inside high fastball, and the kid just got his hands in on it and put a good swing on it. And it was like barely inside the foul pole, like just barely, And I was like, oh, and then that was the first like really just adverse type thing that had happened to him, like on the mound. And so I was looking at him, from the stands, and he just watched it go. He turned around, and started laughing, and I was like, oh shit, even his coach said after the game, he was like, dude, he was like. I've seen 11-year-olds just like break down and cry when that happened and lose it. Right. He's like, I knew he's gonna be okay because like he was laughing and like he said, I talked to him after the game. He was like, that was a good swing. He's like, I threw it where I wanted to throw it. The kid just put a good swing on it.
Top of it. Right.
But I was so proud of him in that moment though, because I was like, dude, that's exactly the mentality you have to have. It's like because you're gonna go out there and I mean, it's not always gonna be, because like when you're 8 and 10 years old, when you're dominating, well, that's one thing. But when you start getting older, when kids get better, that's not going to be the case always. So, I mean, but anyway, that's just a huge important part. I think it gets overlooked sometimes. But like you said, guys come up too quickly, or they're shoving at AAA, and then all of a sudden they get to majors, and it's like, oh wow, these guys aren't swinging at my crap anymore, or they're timing me up, instantly or whatever. Like that's the case. I mean, it's an adjustment period, and you got to have a little bit of patience when it comes to those guys. And it's like I said, that's what's tough. It's thankfully we have the season's forever long. So, as if you mess up a few times, you do have a little bit of, the wiggle room there, but it's tough, man. So.
It is tough. When I think of that, I think of Nacho Alvarez last year, right? Because Nacho Alvarez was doing great, came up in the major leagues and bombed, right? Yeah. And so now he's got to go back. And I'm not going to say that it's damaged his confidence, but I don't think that his return to the minors was as good as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Right now, again, he did have a rapid ascension, so maybe he should have been, to your point, maybe right at AAA. You know, he could come out this year and be lights out, but we'd be remiss and darn near irresponsible if we don't. These are human beings.
Yeah, man.
These are human beings, and look you can have an experience that can shake you to your core. Okay, I tell this story. You know, my brother's Eric Parker. A lot of you guys know him. And the thing about, even though my name's Wilson, there's a story behind that. But even we Parkers are typically very fast human beings, just God-given gift, right? So, real quick story. I'm meeting with Eric and some cousins of ours. And, you know, if you know me, you know I have a propensity to talk a little trash. It's just kind of a family trait, right? So I'm sitting down. I think we're playing spades or something. And anyway, the topic of racing comes up, right? And I'm like, well, I got my shoes in the car. There's nobody in here that can beat me. Matter of fact, wherever I go, you know, I'm talking just trash, right? And my uncle, my cousin, I'm sorry, that's how bad he beat me. My cousin Bob said, well, you know, we can race if you want. And the way he said it was just so casual. I should have picked up on it. I was like,
yeah, like, nah, he's too happy, too easy about this.
Bro, I've probably raced 100 people in my life. I've only lost 3 times. One of them to him. Okay. So I'm on one. I'm like, whatever. I don't even gotta go and get my shoes, Bob. We can go right here. But let's go. Fine.
Barefoot.
Right? We get out there. Now, first off, Bob is 6'5". Okay. Good looking dude, Adonis, body of a god. Okay. None of that means a thing to me. Because again, at this point, I don't even think I've ever lost a race. Or if I did, it was to one. It was like one guy, right? So I'm coming out there full of confidence. We take off. His get off is so damn quick. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. He's 6'5", man. He beat me by 10 feet. 10 feet. It wasn't even close. My brother is in tears because he told me, you don't want this. But of course, I didn't listen. Bob, we going again. You just got lucky, Dim. He beat me by 15 feet. Okay? Damn. I can't make this shit up. We go one more time just because my ego would, like, I am literally, you know, Marty McFly on Back to the Future, how you couldn't dare him? That's me. Oh, no, I'm going to get me some victory today. I don't care if I kill us both. I'm going to get me. He beat me by 20 feet. So at that point,
you were glutton for punishment.
But I'm not going to lie. It damaged me, right? It did something to me that day because I felt like there was another human being that I just could not run with. And that blew my mind, right? Never before had I ever, and I played sports all my life, never before had I ever felt like I just can't run with this guy. Damn it, I just couldn't run. Bob is probably world-class speed. Like world-class speed. Because I was fast. It doesn't seem like it by this story, which clearly I wasn't on that day, but I was fast, okay? Anybody have ever played football, baseball, any sport, they would tell you I was fast. And yes, Ladarius, I did have a big ego. Whatever. The point is, and getting back to the Braves, I can see how if you put somebody in a circumstance where they go out and you let them go 6th inning and they give up 12 runs, they may never be the same, right? They may never recover from that because they may say to themselves, look at my brother laughing. You anyway. He's laughing because he knows.
Of course he is.
But as all good brothers would do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you walk away with that feeling like I can't compete. You get what I'm saying? So I get that in regards to that. And I saw that last year in Nacho. I don't think Nacho was, and you had to bring him up because everybody in our organization was hurt. You didn't have a choice but to bring him up, right? But I hope that didn't damage him. So let's get back to our list of pitchers. Grant Holmes. John, give me your thoughts on, because this is the one guy where I'm like, maybe.
Hey, look, a mullet like that, I'm in. I'm in. you, best ball in the game right
It's
there.
all in the
That's all
mullet,
I
baby.
need. That's all I need.
It's all in the mullet, baby.
Look, if you're gonna have that kind of mullet, you know you can bring it. Like, all right.
Yeah,
I mean, I like what I saw last year, man. Like it's almost like he always came across to me like it's like you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? Like it was like he's just out there just doing it. Kind of like early Matzik, like when he came up, and so it's like, yeah, I mean, I want to see him be able to just maybe advance what he did last year, obviously, and build on that and be able to do it again, because that's what we have to see from all these guys, that come up like that. But yeah, I'm on board with Grant. I like him.
What's interesting about you know what? Let me stop. Chris, give me your thoughts on Grant Holmes.
Grant Holmes. I think honestly, I think Grant Holmes is going to start a few games for the Braves this year. Um, I definitely see that. If everything stays the way it is, I think the Braves are going to be rolling out, some pitching staff by committee. You know who your gunners are. You know who your starters are. Spencer Strider coming back. Cy Young sale. Then you got Ray Lowe, also Swilly. So you know who those pillars are. But it's going to be times where you're going to be looking for that fifth starter. Going to be times to where like guys need rest. So that's where like I'm looking at Bryce Elder, but I'm also looking at Grant Holmes as well. Bryce because he's done it before. He's with the organization. He's used to it. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the starting role this year. But also I expect at least maybe once or twice for whatever reason, Grant Holmes is definitely going to be a starter for the Atlanta Braves this year. I think they like his stuff. I think they like him as a player, and I think they're going to give him an opportunity. I really do.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think so. The book on him is his sweeper or slider is plus. Mm-hmm. He's got a fastball sits around 95, 96, but that sweeper slider combo is swing and miss, darn near lights out, and it plays right. Mm-hmm. What doesn't play, I think his what does he have? That other pitch, John? He's got a cutter that may not play. But
sometimes it didn't cut.
Right. but he throws it just enough to keep you off of it, right? Mm. And so, just from what I'm hearing, like of all of the Braves, shall we say, pitchers that are right there about to break through from a starting perspective, I would say Grant Holmes probably has the most chance to succeed.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with that.
And so I'm okay with Grant Holmes. I think Grant and which kind of I understand why you wouldn't just want to go out and sign somebody, because if he's going to give you just as good as Grant Holmes, why not just pitch Grant Holmes? It's a lot cheaper, right? Yeah. Gentlemen, let's not forget. Let me tell you something. The highest paid brothers out there in any sport are pitchers. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I could suck as a pitcher and make $5 million right now. I'm thinking, how about me, you, John, Chris? We go out and let's just pitch to each other. See if we can,
I already told you, T. Will. I've been working on it. I've been going through a little training and everything myself.
They can pay me $1 million for half a season and release me. I'm good. I'll take it. Mrs. Wilson would be happy with that. You said what?
All I need is a half a season. They can bring me in after the All-Star break, and I'm going to finish off the season, and then I'm going to retire right after just to be like, yeah, did that.
You'd have to. Your fucking arm would be falling off, man. That's like,
without a doubt.
I might can probably hit 70, 75 maybe these days.
I think I'm rocking 60 miles an hour at best. Like,
hey,
I don't think you're gonna get much out of me after that.
I think I can get to 85 if I put my all into it.
Oh man, hey, I love it, bro. I'm gonna need a knuckleball, John. That's the only way I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna need a knuckler that just buckles people. You know what I mean? Other than that,
I'm gonna get that Frio Necro. I'm gonna have that knuckleball.
Oh yeah.
Then y'all make sure y'all send me to the hospital to get my UCL checked on right after the game. Okay?
Exactly.
Amen. All right. So I think we all agree that Grant Holmes has a pretty good shot. So now I'm going to bring this guy up, and I've heard pluses and deltas on this, but let's see where we are. AJ Smith-Shawver. Give me your thoughts on this one, John.
I think this is the case where just super young, right? And when he was, was he 20 when he came up at his first?
He was young.
Yeah, like 20 years old. So crazy stuff. That's why they don't want to. That's why I'm sure people have wanted him in trade deals, and they just haven't. They've been reluctant to let him go because they see what potential is there. Like the kid was he a quarterback in high school, and he just started pitching because he could throw, and all of a sudden he's like, they were like, oh shit, he can throw like 95. Like, what are you doing? Come over here and play baseball. So for him, it's just really, really, really honing in those secondary pitches because he's got a great fastball. We know that. It's got a lot of life to it. Guys swing and miss. So it's really just perfecting those secondaries and getting a better curve, change up, whatever he wants to throw, whatever he's throwing. So that can be something he can go to. But long term, I don't know how they see. I guess they see him long term as a starter. I don't know if they've really talked about it as far as like their long term outlook for him or not. I mean, because he's got clearly you could bring him out of the pen for an inning or two with that type of fastball, But definitely a guy that can make the squad. I wouldn't. If he came out and struggled, I still wouldn't jump off the boat just yet because we just talked about, young guys that sometimes take a little bit longer to develop, especially guys that haven't been playing the sport that long, so happen to be gifted at what they're doing, and they can throw a ball like that. It's tough to you got to know when to cut it, but I don't think you cut it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you got to give him a little bit more time. So not everybody can be Michael Harris and jump from AA and just be that guy.
Right. You're right.
Yeah. And I would venture to say it's a little more difficult for pitchers. I'm sure Michael Harris would not agree. Shout out to you, Mike.
Yeah, man. Money Mike.
Me out.
We saw him actually pitch.
He will.
Y'all remember
Mike is a trip, man. Mike is a trip. You gotta love him. You gotta love him. You gotta love the personality.
That was Tyler Masick. And a lot of people don't know that about Tyler's a card, man. Tyler
put him hilarious.
One of my favorite Braves, man. Tyler Masick.
Daniel got arrested at the parade because they didn't believe he was part of the team.
Oh, have mercy.
Dude, I'm one of the Braves. I really am, though.
Yeah, I really am. I really am.
Yeah. And that year, he was Mr. Brave. If you want to know the truth, I mean,
man.
we don't.
Oh, 100%.
That was just that was ironic, is what that was. That's crazy, man. That is absolutely crazy.
Hey, I will say about AJ Smith-Shawver, that's another guy who I think is going to get an opportunity to start this year, y'all. And like I said, if the roster is constructed the way it is on present day, nobody else comes in, AJ is going to get an opportunity. Last year, you think about how much confidence the Braves had to put him in that playoff game last year. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. It was not fair to AJ, but the Braves, they didn't have any other option.
Right.
They really did not. Chris Sale had just went down, and Chris Sale was scheduled to pitch that game, but then he had the back spasms. Remember T. Will? We was praying and hoping that it was just a smoke move and everything, but it was not a smoke move. He really had back spasms, and then when that happened, I just was like, the playoffs are done. If we could have started off with Chris Sale and maybe get a leg up, I would have felt better. But not having Chris Sale that whole playoffs and then having to insert Smith-Shawver into that starting role against a team that was hot like the Padres, that's a tough act. So my thing is, when going into the game, I said, you know what, Smith, whatever happens, I'm not jumping off the bandwagon for you because I know you was inserted into a very tough situation. And he got his head beat in. He did. But at the same time, I still believe that AJ has the stuff. Like John said, he do have to work on the secondary things. But it's a reason why the Braves haven't traded him or anything like that. I believe they believe in AJ. I believe they believe in the potential and in the stuff that he has. And I think he's going to get an opportunity. This year, I believe it's going to be a year of opportunity for a lot of guys. And at the year's end, it's going to be like, okay, we tried everything we possibly can with everybody. This is the guys that need to stay. These are the guys that may need to find a new place, so. I can really see it being like that.
I wasn't even mad at him at that Padres game. I just felt bad for him. I was just
like,
like,
same, John.
Just like,
same.
damn, dude. And but in a way, like he'll be a lot stronger because of it. I mean, you go through that type of outing in the playoffs against the Padres and the way they were hitting, and it's like, he'll be fine. He'll just, like Michael just said, he's gonna be fine. He just has to get, like you said, man, get that secondary stuff going. Mentally, though, I mean, he's been through the worst. So
Yeah. And guys, let's talk about that for a sec, because I don't think people really understand. I'm gonna tell you my opinion. Other than golf, which is very mentally taxing, baseball to me is the most mentally taxing sport on the planet, because if you succeed 3 out of 10 times at the plate, you are world class.
Yeah.
You have to become okay with failure.
100%.
Right? You have to. So in my mind's eye, that's my thought. John, give me yours. Like, is that in line step with what you think, or give me your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. I mean, just having a kid that's played since he was 4 I mean, it's like, and as he got further into it, having to explain to him, hey man, like what you just said, I told him that. I said, look, if you succeed, and this is before he really just became a pitcher, but I was like, look at these guys, dude. If you succeed 30% of the time at your job, you're gonna make it in the Hall of Fame, possibly.
Right.
Like that's, which is insane to say. But I was like, but I told him, I was like, dude, you're gonna have to be able to be okay with that. Like, you're not, at the plate, you're gonna strike out sometimes. And it's gonna be in big situations. You're not gonna come through there's gonna be bad things happen. You're gonna have to not only be okay with it, but be able to recover with it the next inning. Like if you strike out at the plate, like it just happened to him before. He struck out, had to go pitch the next inning. All right, that's got to be gone. Like whether you had guys on base, whatever the case, that's over with. Like, now you have to go prepare to face these hitters, So it's severely overlooked. And I think as the kids come up through different levels of baseball, as you see every year, like, and we've seen it, and it's not always a talent thing. Some kids are super talented, but they don't have it mentally.
Right.
Like they'll, what I'm saying? Like, and we've seen it. We've had friends that are like going out there and like they're fantastic hitters, but they cannot keep it together. And it's like and coaches, they can't handle that. When they even that now, like he's 14, and it's like his coach will tell him like, hey dude, like, and so tells the whole team like, whether you're having a good outing or a bad outing, I don't want to be able to know. I don't want to be able to tell by looking at you on the mound. Like, that's like, like you need to be just focused in. Like, I'll worry about taking you out, and if we need a mound visit, we'll have a mound visit. But it's like you have to go up there. Then the most important pitch is the next pitch. So like, don't worry about what just happened. And but as a person, like you have to have that kind of makeup in you. Like, I don't think you just develop it. I mean, you can develop it, but I think you have to have that ability to be like, okay, like this is, and that's what me and my son, we've talked about it so much over the years, especially as, like I said, as pitching's become more important to him. And now that he's only a pitcher, we've talked about it a lot, but it's just, and he's done a really good job being mentally strong. But I was like, dude, it's just going to get tougher and tougher. Like, like you've had a lot more success than you've had failure so far.
Right.
And you've had some failures, like this last fall season was a tough season for him. Like we had 4 tournaments. Fall's normally shorter, than, and really, I mean, he had one really good outing, which was the first tournament. Like, and after he had some mechanical things and just wasn't himself, and like, it was a tough last 3 games, and like, it got to him. It was kind of like, it was like, man, so like not the way he wanted to end going into like tryouts for high school. Right. But we had plenty of time, got his mind right, and he was fine. He made the team. Right. So, but I told him, I was like, you just because you've had this much more success, you've had failure, like, you're still going to have to, and like I said, he understands it. Cause like he follows all these guys that are in the pros. Like he takes, I mean, he, like I said, any documentary he can watch, he watches. Like he wants to really just kind of like, how do I approach this? What's the smartest way can I approach this? Mentally, from a mental standpoint. Yeah. And it's like I said, yeah. I mean, luckily, like I said, I've never had to really get on to him about his emotions. Like, I mean, he'll get pumped up and you'll see it sometimes, big strikeout, something like that. But for the most part, you can't tell what's going on. Like I said, it's just like,
even keel.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's and like I've talked to him after some bad games. He's like, well, this is what happened. This is what I knew I was doing. He's like, this is what I got to work on for next game. Like, so it's over with, you know. It's like he doesn't, and I've always had it, and I don't tell anybody how to parent, but I've seen guys get on their kids after a bad outing, and look, dude, man, they already feel like shit. Like they know they sucked. Like they know they had a bad. Like the last thing they need is your dumb ass going, hey, like you were terrible.
Right.
Yeah. Like, dude, I know I was. Like, you know, and I told Liam from the get, I said, dude, I will never ever do that. Because I played sports growing up too. My dad was not like that, thankfully. You know what I mean? And so, but I saw it happen all around me. So like I told him, I said, dude, I don't care if you even want to talk about it. I was like, if you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. I was like, we're definitely not talking about it after the game. We can talk about it the next day, 2 days down the road, whatever it may be. I was like, if you just want to be like, hey, I just want to flush this, then flush it. Like yeah. I was like, I mean, I'm not your coach. Like I know a little bit, but I mean, I'm not going to sit there and try to like mess you up, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, all this long tangent. Yeah. The mental part of it gets severely overlooked, man, from a fan standpoint. Cause they forget they're humans, and it's all, you know, whether they're young kids coming up or a vet that's, you know, coming back from injury, whatever the case may be, like they're all overcoming something, and they all have to just like, you know, there's no, hey, let's just wait and see. Like, it's like, hey, no, you have a game today, you have a game tomorrow, you have a game the next day. Like, you know, you have to perform, you know, so it's tough, you know, but that's why they get paid what they get paid.
Well, I just want to give you your flowers, John, and just being, you know, I'm saying, a great dad to Liam, and, you know, I'm saying, being able to allow him to go through the emotions and allow him to, you know, grow as a human being, as a young man. Because like you said, things are gonna happen. You're gonna have bad outings. Like you said, they know when they have a bad outing, and to just be that support system, you know what I'm saying? Like I just gotta give a salute to you and other dads who are just like you, because it's
Appreciate that.
easy to beat up on your children. It's easy to beat up on them, and without even really realizing the effect, because you think about how it was when we were growing up and everything, and like it was kind of like, all right, man, you know, so get after it, get after it. It's like it wasn't. We're in a different time and day now, to where it's like, all right, it's not going to be rah rah all the time. You're going to have to be having some compassion. You're going to have to be able to watch your words and everything like that. So yeah, but I'm glad that, you know, Liam has that. And do you hear that, Double A? You hear that, Alex? You know, so you see those intangibles. You know, I said in that family. You know, so check them guys out. Check them out. Man.
That's right.
You know what's interesting, right? My dad was probably the best coach teacher I've ever had. Now we didn't always get along. Oh my God. But one thing I will say about him is one-on-one, he was the best. Now, he was not effusive with praise, right? The best game I ever had, I remember it like it was yesterday, right? I went 4 for 4, 3 doubles, 1 trip. I killed it. I killed it. That was a line drive up the middle, stuck my glove out, caught it, right? Oh, it was a great game. And I made one mistake, right? One mistake during the entire game, right? Now, my dad would never publicly get on it. That's not him. If he was going to communicate, it'd be after, in the car, maybe the next day. He wasn't going to embarrass you. That just wasn't him. So I walk up to him, right? And I'm thinking he's going to be like, you had a great game. His exact response was, you know, if you'd have just paid attention to the guy at third base, you probably could have got him, which pissed me. Oh my God, it pissed me off, right? Because I was like, I know you saw me out there. I know you saw me out there. I know you did. I know we were watching the same game. Damn it, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it, right? But that was him. But the thing about him is that, to John's point, he's never going to really talk to you after a game, good or bad. He'd probably wait a day and be like, so tell me, you know, what do you think you could have, you know, I did like that about him.
Yeah.
Who was the coach? David Pollock he played for Georgia, right? He said he didn't want to coach his son. And I think it's probably because he said, look, my role, I just want to be your dad, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, John, you being able to do that speaks volumes about your character, because it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy, because there are times you may have to have a conversation with them But it's all about the win. When's the right time? Picking and choosing. You know what I mean? Because what I realized watching my son play baseball, I might want to say something as a coach that needs to be said, but as a dad, I have no business saying it because ultimately it's going to take away from his growth. And I don't want to do that, right? So a lot of times I find myself oh God, I'm just gonna shut up, Kim. That's my wife, Kim. And because you can't always do that. There's sometimes things need to be said, but as a dad, it carries. It's damaging.
For sure.
Right. It is.
Because when you say it in the moment, you're thinking coach, they're thinking dad. Oh, my dad doesn't believe in me. And you never want to do that. So guys like yourself, John, who can do that and do that effectively, I salute you because that's not easy. I've been there, done that. That's
I feel like it's a delegation that you have to really be aware of. I think that's really what it comes down to. Am I right, John? Awareness.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and you have to know your kid obviously to what he responds to. It's like if like you said, T, if I was yelling at him, like he's just going to shut down. I mean, he's not going to respond. He's not going to like have a conversation, or like it's just going to be like, all right, well, you obviously have no idea what you're talking about, so shut up. So I mean, and I've always told him too. I said, dude, I said, dude, if you go out there, no matter if it's baseball or whatever the case may be, academics, whatever, it's like as long as you given like 100% effort, like that's the one thing you can control. Right, we're good. We're good because things are going to happen. That's going to be bad. But if you were out, if you go half-ass something, then we'll have a conversation. You know what I mean? But like, if you go out there and you got everything and you're giving everything you got, then I can't be mad about that. Like sometimes you're going to get hit. So I mean, that's just guys are good hitters. So they may you may be off that day. It may happen. But that's the mental. And I'm trying to raise them that way, and then like just to have a tough mentality, like like not just you get hit by a ball, like okay. Right, and like he's at one point when he was hitting, he led our team and hit by a pitch. Like every game he was getting hit once or twice. I don't know what it was, but it was like they hit him. But he would always just toss his bat and run to first. It was almost like it just pissed him off. And I'm like, good. That's what I want you to be. I mean, I don't care how bad it hurts. Just don't show it to him. Don't show it.
Yeah, he had that Ronald Acuna year.
Yeah, basically. He had bruises. I mean, he looked like he was like in a fight every week. But that's pretty much it. But yeah, it's fun to watch them, man. It's fun to watch them develop over the years. Like just how they, I mean, it's wild, but it's fun.
Yeah, they are. All right, we got to do some housekeeping. Carrie says this has been a great show with so much great info. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Carrie.
It's going to be fine. Hey, Miss Carrie.
Yeah, I think so too.
You said what?
No, I said I think so too. I was agreeing with Michael.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, agreed. Robert Blackman, the Braves are not trying to spend new money in pitching. They're sure trying to give their own players opportunities to play. Ladarius says baseball is a very cerebral sport for sure. Justin says, who will be the Braves shortstop this year? It's going to be Mr. Orlando Arcia. Good morning, Tiff Brains. Tiff says, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I'm glad that we brought that up as far as like Justin, thanks for the question, because I do have a question for you guys, just still talking about our Bravos. All right, so who is on the hot seat this year, guys? Who is on the hot seat this
Chris, you there? Did he cut out?
I don't know. Chris, you hear me?
Chris, can you hear me? Give me your thoughts. Who's on the hot seat this year?
Oh, for me? Oh,
I'm sorry, Chris. You cut out. Chris. What were you saying?
Oh, my bad. It was the service, man. No, I was saying as far as Orlando Arcia, people talk about his offense, you know what I'm saying, but his defense is second to none. T-Will, we've talked about that. Everything. But you also have guys like Jared Kelenic, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, who is on the hot seat this year?
Yeah, I think Kelenic has to perform for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough spot to make in the outfield that we have, especially now with you adding Profar to the mix. And T-Will talked about it before the show. Like, this is Ozuna's last option year at least, right? So like, he may be a free agent. So there's a possible chance for somebody to step up there. Orlando, yeah, I mean, it's his bat's frustrating because it seems like if he would not try to hit a 700-foot homer every time, he'd probably be a lot better hitter. And it looked damn good when he does it, but man, it's a lot of strikeouts.
It's a lot,
but his arm is just probably saves a couple of outs every game with just how good his arm is. Murphy's got to respond this year. He's got to come back stronger this year than he had last, offensively at least.
Yeah.
For me, and yeah, off the top of my head, that's what I can think of.
Yeah. So for me, hot seat gotta be Ian Anderson.
Yeah.
Gotta be Bryce Elder, because I don't think either one of them have options. So somebody's going home, or somebody's
for sure
not gonna be here, right? Mm-hmm. So gotta be those two. I need to see, as long as Orlando can continue to defend, I don't think we have somebody that's going to dethrone him, because at the end of the day, at shortstop, center, and catcher, the Braves value defense. Mm-hmm. They value defense everywhere, but at those premium positions up the middle, they value defense. So I don't think anybody's going to unseat Mr. Arcia. Kelenic has definitely got to get it together. To the extent, because he can be set down, mm-hmm. right? So, once Acuna comes back, he could be the odd man out. He could not be. He's a lefty. I think other than, Profar is a switch hitter. So,
mm-hmm.
He could be sitting there. Michael Harris is a lefty. Carrot could definitely be sent down. I think Murphy is okay just because, again, he's a catcher that's up the middle. And
mm-hmm.
if all things considered, I'd rather a catcher that could play great defense and contribute to a team 3.5 ERA than a catcher who could hit 50 home runs, but you're giving up 5 runs a game.
Right? I mean, everybody can't be Ivan Rodriguez, right?
Correct. Correct. So yeah, for me, now Murphy definitely needs to hit better, but again, you could argue, if you've ever had an oblique and he had a bad one, that's basically an entire year.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You just don't get any better. You just don't. So he did. So Michael says Profar does play shortstop. I don't think he's played shortstop in a couple of years. He came up a shortstop. He did. He came up a shortstop, and he did play third base, but he's been relegated pretty much to the outfield. I think the past 2 seasons, he may have played first base a couple times last year. I don't know, but
he's just a versatile player anyway. Profar is. That was why I was so excited about having him, because my thing is, if somebody goes down, you can possibly put him to be in that position, like shortstop, third base, left field, where he's going to primarily be at. But it's a player that you want to keep because he can play multiple positions, and he possibly, depending on what happens with like a Kelenic or just other guys, so the depth Arcia, if they want to move on from Arcia, hypothetically, they could put Profar there and then put somebody else in left field and still can be able to rock. It's just, do they want to do that? Again, the thing that saves Arcia is his second to none defense, like I said before.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So if guys are on the hot seat for me, I'm looking at Bryce Elder. I'm looking at Jared Kelenic. Those two guys are definitely on the hot seat for me. Who would be the third guy though? That's because I have a third guy, because I'm going in between guys, because you could make an argument about Arcia. You could about just that bat. Sean Murphy, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I mean, his contract is too large for him to be on the hot seat.
He's not the hot seat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You just hope for a better season. That's all. But like you said,
that's it. So I mean, honestly, man, those are the two names that really just sticks out to me. Kelenic and Bryce Elder, just because Bryce Elder's been with the team. Kelenic is so many guys. He's going to be having to fight with is it Eli White? I think him and Eli White are going to be fighting for jockeying for position, because we got Profar now, I believe. So that's another thing too. Kelenic, Ooh, boy, you got an uphill battle. You got an uphill battle this season.
I think Eli White is probably the odd man out, just because you have Kelnick for the next 4 or 5 years. So even if he sucks this year, you can still work with him, right? And Kelnick still has more of an upside than Eli White does. I think if anybody, it's probably Eli White that's on the hot seat, right? I'm not saying Jarrett Kelnick is going to start the season up here in Atlanta, but Eli White might not either. You know what I mean? Kelnick can play defense. I'll give him that. He's not now. Eli White is better, but Kelnick can play decent defense. So much so that Alex, when talking about him, says if Kelnick played one position, he probably would be a Gold Glover. So that lets you know they view Kelnick defensively as very good. Kelnick played center field when we didn't have a center fielder last year. So he is decent defensively. I don't think that you will see Jerickson Profar playing shortstop. I don't. Just because that is a position that given their druthers, the Braves would rather somebody play defense there. Right? Yeah. Catcher, shortstop, center, you got to be able to pick it. You got to be able to go and get it. Everything else, maybe you're flexible, but those positions, you got to be able to go and get it, which is why, look, Arcia has a golden arm, okay? God himself kissed that arm, okay, when he sent Arcia. That arm is legend. You know who Arcia is? Arcia is Rafael Belliard with a great arm. That's and with a little bit of power. If you remember Rafael Belliard, was a little bitty guy.
Yeah, that's the name right there you pulled out.
Long time ago in the Braves. Okay. Arcia is Rafael Belliard with a much better arm and with power. There you go. Because I think Belliard hit like one home run in probably 3 or 4 seasons. So
maybe his career,
Maybe I was just about to say, what are you talking about? Seasons, his career.
You got
like 3.
That when he hit it, I think the Braves gave a standing ovation. Like, what the hell? You remember that?
I'm pretty sure.
Happened?
Oh no, you got to big him up for that one.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty sure Maddox and Smoltz have more career home runs than he does.
I think they did.
I'm telling you.
Hey man, Chicks did the long ball. You know, Chicks did the long ball.
Maddox, Smoltz, and possibly even Glavine.
Maybe even Glavine. Yeah, that's true.
I think Smoltz was a decent hitter.
He was.
Him and Maddox.
Yeah. Now Maddox and Glavine, that's different. But Smoltz, every now and then you leave one over there, he could go yard. He could definitely go bridge. So yeah, but no, I think if I gotta pick hot seat, I'm gonna go with what you guys said. Essentially, Kelnick definitely on there. Definitely Bryce and Ian. And
I can agree with you.
Maybe Brian Pena, because he doesn't really bring a lot defensively. Now he did have a couple of seasons where he hit 30. Okay, so he can run into one. Okay, he can go, and you know the Braves, they love it. If you can go yard, they love it. So give and take. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think we'll know if Profar is even a discussion for the infield. We'll know in spring training if he gets any run there at all, if he gets any practice there, if he gets any games there, then we'll know, like, okay, clearly they're seeing what he can do. But if he's in the outfield the entire time, then that's not even going to be a conversation.
Yeah,
right. I agree.
All right, I got one last picture I want to go through with you guys, and we'll go through the outfielders. But Hurston Waldrop. Now, for me, this is your next closer. For me, I don't know if the Braves are listening, okay, but he profiles as a closer. I don't even see him as a starting pitcher. With that being said, the reason the Braves are so gung-ho on pitchers is because I don't know if you guys have checked what pitchers are making lately.
Oh no, they make
bruh, like
we in the wrong profession.
Clearly, okay. Because if I had it to do all over again, let me tell you something. I tell you,
my kids playing baseball.
As
soon as they come out the room, get ready for baseball, little tiger.
Ready. Yeah, get ready. Play games of Braves win.
That's all you're gonna hear.
Right? That's what he's gonna hear.
I made him play Skip Carey just so he can hear a legendary voice.
Right. No, honey, we're not gonna play Mozart. We're gonna play the '92 Braves when they beat the Pirates.
There you go.
We're gonna play that over and over again, right? Then we're gonna play when they won it in '95. The Braves have given you a championship. The Braves have won. Yes, we're gonna play that over and over again. As a matter of fact, those are gonna be his first words, honey. Those are gonna be his first words. No, in all seriousness,
it ain't gonna be dad, mama. It's gonna be Braves.
Yeah, something, yeah. But Hurston profiles to me as a closer. The problem with that is the Braves just are not going to pay somebody going into a contract season in their 30s, right? So if you're a major league pitcher and you're great, but you're turning 30, the Braves aren't going to pay you 8, 9, 10 years, because 9 times out of 10, the last 4 or 5 years of that contract, you're not going to be worth it. Mm-hmm. And the Braves will spend money, right? There is a notion out there, or a perception that they're cheap. It's not that they're cheap. They just want value, right? Mm-hmm. And, I'm not going to crack that joke, but
yeah, I was about that. He will.
I'm not going to crack that joke.
He will.
Right. They just want value, right? And I'm going to leave it there, that they want value. So with that being said, guys, give me your thoughts on Hurston Waldrop. Do you think he starts a couple of games for us this season? Do you think he is toiling the majority of the year in the minors like John? Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, his stuff is ridiculous. So like he's got, if he has that in him to be a closer, yeah, I think he could do that. I think he did a little bit of everything at Florida. I think he definitely started. But yeah, I just knowing the depth of our pitching rotation, yeah, I could see him coming up and starting a game or two. Give him a run, because hell, he could catch lightning in a bottle, just kind of like some of our younger guys have in the previous years, and and he'd be that guy. But I wouldn't be surprised either way. I can see him spending an entire year in AAA. In fact, I mean, that may be the best case scenario. That may mean that we're really healthy in our club.
Good point. Yeah,
but because I don't think development's never. Extra development's never a bad thing, unless he's just lights out. Then he's forcing the Braves' hand to bring him up. Then nobody's gonna argue about that either.
Nope.
And then I think they'll just they'll figure out a role for him when that. I think that's kind of like when we cross that bridge when we come to it type of thing. Like, yeah, okay, we'll see how he does, and then now we'll see where he fits, and then go from there.
Okay. Yeah, excellent explanation. I'm kind of like similar. I believe the same thing to what I was saying about Sharver, same thing I was saying about Grant Holmes. I think guys are going to get opportunities. I think this is going to be the year of opportunity for the Atlanta Braves to see what do they have. What do we need to go after the following season? You know what I'm saying? Who can we keep because they had a good season, they had a good showing, potential, all those things. Know that the Braves like to promote from within. So I'm thinking like this season is going to be a season to where guys are going to get opportunities.
Yeah.
Even Hurston. I think Hurston gets an opportunity maybe once, maybe twice he gets called up. Of course, you don't want it to be injury related. I want it to be more so, let's just see what you got.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah. That's what I want it to be. And it's a long season, guys. Baseball is a long season.
Oh, yeah, 162 games.
So that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be some room, sometime to where you don't had a guy that you maybe has been running them into the ground a little bit. You want to give a little release. Hey, let's bring Hurston up, see what he got. Mm-hmm. So so I think this is going to be the year of opportunity. And you look around, you look at our roster, we got similar guys here. I mean, talking about the pitching in particular, we got similar guys here, yeah. But a lot of guys that we look at are kind of like iffy, unproven. You kind of don't want to put them in a bad situation, stuff like that. So I think this is going to be the year of opportunity so we can see who we can keep and what do we need to address next offseason when the taxes and everything restart, for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. 100%. I just hope if we are under the threshold this year that we really go out and spend some money next year, right? I'd love to see that. Wow, because you've got your core here. So when you talk about going out and spend money, you're really talking about going out and getting one pitcher and one lights out reliever, maybe two, because everybody else is here. Everybody that you need, your core players in the field are here. You've got that. You've built this team. And they're going to be here for at least the next 3 years.
Yeah,
right?
You got to take advantage of it.
You got it. That's what I'm saying. You got to take advantage of it, right? What good is it to have this team if you cannot do that? And look at the Dodgers bought the world. Okay, they literally bought the world.
What?
The Dodgers signed the Lakers while you guys were sleeping. They signed the Lakers last.
I believe it.
Like I was wondering, if they changed the rules. Like, could there be 12 position players now in the field, or like how many guys can you?
Jeez, man.
I mean, how deep a rotation are you going to have? Like 8, 9 guys? You going to do
the Dodgers going to have players on load management,
bro. Yeah. Seriously, wow. You joke, but they got 2 guys, Dustin May, and was it Gonderson? What's his name?
Gonsolin.
They got
cat guy.
Yeah.
They both throw 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know that they start next year. Right? Like it's ridiculous.
The Dodgers have so many people that if they want to, they could just trade people and gain assets just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Bro, they got so many people they could have a Dodgers East and a Dodgers West.
Yeah.
Like that's how
damn near 2 teams. Bro,
yeah. Anyway, it depresses me. But the point is the Braves are right there, right? If all of our guys come back and let's get into it because this is a Braves podcast and we need to get into it. For those of you who look at the Braves last year and say they're finished, nothing could be farther from the truth. Braves had a lot going on last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number one, and I don't think that the point was made enough of this. And you know what? Why am I the center? So let's get some other folks in here.
You don't like that, do you, T. Will? That front street don't feel too good.
No, this looks like it's my show now. So this is not good.
That's why T. Will had did me like that last week. I said, "Hey, T. Will, I'm up here on the big screen too long, but the rest of y'all come on in."
I've had enough of looking at my face. Come on, man. All right, so what the hell was I saying? Jesus. Now, I really forgot my line of thought. Jesus.
About last season.
Last season. And pretty much how we made the playoffs and we had no business.
Right. Well, so number one, half our lineup was injured. Literally. Half our lineup was injured. And they missed a lot of time. Number two, and I don't think people place the relevance on this, is we lost something that you cannot readily get back. And that is that guy in that locker room that puts foot to ass that says enough. And I am talking about Ron Washington. Okay. For those of you who do not know Ron Washington was the third base coach of the Braves from 2018 up until last year. And Ron Washington had a relationship where he was like dad to a lot of these guys. Not dad, but definite big brother. Definite, hey, man, get your shit together. What are you doing?
He was that old school dad. He was our dads, basically.
Yes. Ron Washington is a very gregarious personality, very charismatic. So he had a way of saying something that while it cut to the chase, you took it because of the relationship that you had with the man. He basically raised all of our infield from pups. He basically raised Acuna from pups, right? So I say that to say, when Ron left, if you're Matt Tuciopo, if you're him, you can't run up to Ronald Acuna and say, "Hey, man, get your shit together." Or you better not. You're gonna learn real quickly. You can't do that. You don't have that rapport with him, and if you don't have that in the locker room, there's a void there. Now, ultimately, nature abhors a vacuum. So I think ultimately that thing will be resolved. But just looking at that last year, you could see there were times where it's just like that guy's not here, right? That's a large part of what was going. That swinging for the fences, and the fact that literally half of our lineup was out for at least greater than 30 games. Okay, so I don't think many other teams not named the Atlanta Braves would have even made the playoffs last year with the injuries that we went through. Okay, now this year, good news. We are better suited for our position players, if something happens, pitching to be determined. But as far as that is concerned, guys, have you ever been on a team where you had that guy that was just, hey, man, get your shit together, and then he leaves and witness the impact? And John, we'll start with you. Have you ever experienced that?
I may you know what, not as in sports, maybe as in the workplace.
Okay.
I mean, like, and that's similar,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
But because, I mean, I don't think that, that's probably not something that got looked at very closely, but yeah, dude, it's huge. I mean, like, that's the impact he had on those guys on the infield, especially like every day out there at whatever AM doing drills, and just what, the conversations. That's the thing, is the conversations these guys have, the experience, like,
yes,
that matters, man, to those guys. So like that was, I hated to lose. I was happy for Ron, but I hated it because I was like, man, I didn't. I know he wanted one more run at it as a head coach.
Right. Right.
I wouldn't have picked the Angels, but I understand he wanted one run at it. But yeah, I mean, that's hard to replace, man. It's just tough. I mean, I think Tuiasosopo did a fine job.
Yes, he could. Right.
Yes,
right.
he could. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to step in and replace that dude. And like you said, the injuries we went through. People, it's easy to say next man up. Man, there's a reason those guys are starters.
Yeah. Amen.
Hello.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Oh.
Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I had something like that happen back when I was in grade school. I know it was like real young, but we still had like basketball teams and stuff like that there. And there was a coach that in the middle of the season, he transferred to another school, another state, and everything like that. And let's just say in the beginning, we had more wins than losses, and after that, we had nothing but losses because it was a different voice. And also, I want to mention Eric Young as well too.
Yes,
Who's
yes.
also another voice.
Big time.
Who's also another voice who went along with Ron Washington. Like you said, Ron and Eric could both come up to a player and say, "Hey, man, get your stuff together. Get it together."
What's going on? Right.
And they had that rapport and everything. And it's like, you want to have that similar rapport, but you're coming in, you're trying to fill a void. And he did the best thing that he could. Again, we still got to the playoff. We lost our MVP. We lost our main ace. Because, I mean, no disrespect to Max Fried, Spencer Strider had become our main ace.
Yes, he did.
We lost both of those. Just that alone, a team could not make the playoffs. You just lost your MVP and your best guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Braves, so then they didn't have Austin Riley
and
for a time period,
and Sean Murphy,
Sean Murphy,
right?
Max Fried,
right?
I'm saying? They all went through something, and we still was able to weather the storm and make the playoffs. I believe, that this team, if they can weather the storm, if they can continue to stay healthy, if we can stay healthy this year, if we can have a good bill of health, man, we're going to surprise a lot of people because the Braves have a core in place. The Braves have a good roster. We just got to stay healthy. And also with the new hitting coach, I believe if the Braves can limit those leaving runners on the bases, we left a lot of runners on the bases last year. If we can cut that just in half alone last year from last year, guys, we're gonna do some things.
I think that's going to be a big impact. Yeah.
Because we were just so inconsistent with the bats. We left so many runners on base, 2 and 3 guys. You know what I'm saying, per inning almost.
Have y'all seen Chipper talk about hitting these days? And like, it's different, man. It's different.
It is.
The way they're teaching, the way they used to teach it. It's that's why it's so many. Like you said, that's why there's so many swing and miss and 230 and 240 averages and stuff like that. It's
hitting 35 homers. Yeah,
they're teaching them to come up through
the launch angle.
Yeah, all coming up through the zone, and your bat's not in the zone very long. So
right.
Yeah,
you look at it. You remember when guys like Michael Harris came up. When he first came up, he was just putting the ball in play.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, he turned into like just swinging for the fences, and it just seemed like that's what we just turned into, just a team to just swing for the fences. I understand Matt Olson in his career year that year, and Ronald, with the home runs and everything like that. But we came into and we always, kind of like go for the long ball as a franchise, just overall.
Yeah.
But it just like lately, it's just been like we just been like, hey, gotta go over the fence. It's gotta go over the fence. And I feel like we need to get away from that a little bit for real and just get back to putting the ball in play. And I think that's what the hitting coach gonna do.
Yeah, we need to see guys going opposite field, like whether it's a double, single, whatever, like staying in the zone, hitting, just getting hits, putting the ball in play. That's, I mean,
man, that's what I used to love about Chipper Jones, man. He would go oppo
all the time, man.
So often, bro, and it just like it really was underrated, man. And I don't think people really appreciated how much skill you have to do to really just be able to put the ball into the opposite part of the field on a consistent basis.
Yeah, 300 from both sides is crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean Chipper is one of one. Chipper is definitely one of one. It's interesting. We're talking about these great Braves teams, and I think a lot of times the Braves get, unfortunately, a bad rap. And I say that because, baseball truly is a game of inches, right? You could make the argument that the Braves of the 90s should have won at least two, potentially
100%.
Right? Because if we go back to Minnesota, and this hurts me to do, but God damn it, Ronnie Gant was on base, Urbeck, you bastard.
Oh,
and you pulled him off.
If you have eyes, you can see he pulled him off.
You know you pulled him off, you bastard. You know you did it. And not that I'm still upset about it 30 plus years later.
Yeah, me either.
But Urbeck, you bastard, you know what you did. Secondly, if Lonnie Smith doesn't get deked, oh my God, the game's over. We win the World Series. We really should have. We should have won that.
And I wouldn't have thrown Charlie Leibrandt.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do
that.
Anyway, and then
Charlie Leibrandt versus Kirby Puckett. Come on now, damn it! Like nobody in the world thought that was a good idea.
I'm not doing that.
And then Mark Wohlers, why do you throw Jim Labor a split finger pitch when the bases are loaded? All you gotta do is throw your fastball, which it was your best pitch. Why throw him a split finger pitch in that count? Jesus, we never. You
know what? And Mark Wohlers never recovered either.
He did not. I say it to say those Braves teams were so good. And it's unfortunate that a lot of times, especially in today's society, we deem success and or failure by ultimately who won the championship, because those Braves teams were great. That 91 team, if you weren't here prior to 91, you're not going to understand what it meant to us as fans. You're just not. Because the Braves had sucked for decades. And I mean decades. Okay, they had made one or two playoff appearances, but for the most part, sucktology at its finest. Okay, they toiled in squalor. They were just awful. They were navel led. And then along comes Bobby Cox and these cast of starters, and they went from worst the previous year to first. And then they went storming into the World Series. They went up to Minnesota, up 3-2. And I fell in love with the Braves all over again, man. And I don't know that that's everybody's story, but it's just unfortunate that out of all of that came one World Series, because a lot of the negative cohorts, when they look at it, well, you should have won more. You know, you 14 division championships. And let me tell you something. It is not easy to win 14 division championships in a row. A lot of things have to go your way, and you have to play really darn well. And you got to have really good pitching for a really long time, right? So we'd be remiss if we didn't give Bobby Cox his flowers, give Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Greg Maddux their flowers, because they were a great team for a long time, man. And it's just unfortunate. John, Chris, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Dude, yeah, I mean, you preaching to the choir, man. Like I think that 96 team was better than the 95 team.
They were,
and that was that was that World Series.
That was the year we had Denny Nagel. Did we have Denny Nagel in 96?
Yeah. That World Series, that one just killed me. Like killed me. That was 28-3 before 28-3. You know what I'm saying? Like that's But
took two games from them in New York. Andrew Jones
in New York.
hits
Yep.
2 home runs.
Yep.
Yes.
2. Oh God, I'll never forget that. Oh man.
I still remember when he was just playing around. I remember he threw the ball out of the stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I was more so of a younger pup when it comes to that '96 team. So I do remember, but you know what I remember more than anything? I remember the fact that we won the World Series the year before. I remember, you know what I'm saying, we did that in New York, and I was just like, oh, we're gonna win the World Series again. You know, so I'm a kid. I'm just like, yeah, man, we finna go back to back, my team. And when we didn't win the World Series, bro, I cried.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, I was hurt. I said, bro, we lost to the who? And
Right.
I ain't gonna lie to you, that day, the New York Yankees gained a forever enemy and they won forever.
Amen.
That
Amen to that.
it just like that World Series is the reason why I don't like the Yankees to this day.
Yeah.
Well,
And I know I need to let that go, but I'm not gonna let it go.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to.
No, you don't. You don't have to. Don't ever feel that way. It's
and I think you know, a lot of the fandom, especially the young people that, or the young folks that, or even, you know, they grew up during that 14-year run, kind of just got used to it. It's like, oh, well, this is, you know, we're just gonna, like, you know, it's like, no, this is not normal. Like, doesn't just happen.
Correct.
Like, you know, like this is, like you said, so many, like, the pitchers have to stay healthy, and those 3 guys that you mentioned stayed healthy for the majority of that time. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't see that today either. Like, you don't see those
and kept their stuff. Like, they didn't
right.
lose anything.
We had a legitimate, people say it, and sometimes, and it's not really true. We had a legitimate 3 number ones, you know, that were on any staff, you know.
Right.
So it's like you just kind of get used to that. And it's like, and then, you know, the early 2000s when we kind of fell off, it was like some folks would, you know, just jump ship, you know, whatever. I'm like, dude, like, that's not how this works. Not how this game works. It's ups and downs, it's ebbs and flows, cyclical. Like, you got to draft well, you got to develop well. If you don't draft well, you better go out and purchase some guys, like, which is the Yankees have done for years. Like, they've never really drafted that great, but they'll go out and buy guys. The same thing with the Dodgers. So I mean, you know, we've always been that draft development type team. That's all. That's just been our, even before Liberty Media and before, like, all that stuff. Like, you know, that was just our thing. You know, I mean, we now in the mid '90s, we would, you know, the Fred McGriff trade was massive. You know, like that was just like, okay, we're really going for this thing when we went after him. And I think that's by the way, underrated as hell. I know he finally made it to the Hall of Fame, but dude, that guy was so underrated. Anyway, Chris.
Andrew Jones, real quick, I just don't understand how in the world, like, the man was able to swing the way he was and be so effective.
All right,
like
one arm,
like no one like that helicopter swing is just like who else can do that outside of Fred McGriff?
Nobody. You know, that's the thing about baseball, right? Because let me tell you something. A left-handed power swing is probably one of the most beautiful things you'll see in the world. Like, Ken Griffey's swing is beautiful. I mean, I hear it when I see it.
Entire childhood.
You know what I mean? I tell you what, though, man, I really think the Yankees ushered in the end of the starting pitcher era, because they were the first teams that began to stack their bullpen, or stack their relievers, like, from the bat going forward. And, you know, with the Yankees, if you didn't have that lead by the 6th, it was over. And that I really feel like that ushered in the era of, okay, well, you don't really have to go 7 or 8 innings anymore. You can go 5 and dive, and then we got this bullpen, and we'll get you through to the 9th. And I think ultimately that's because, if not for that, if the Braves had adapted to that, they probably could have gone 20 years. You know what I mean? Which is ridiculous as it sounds. At least 16, 17. But the Braves, you know, they were so focused on starting pitchers, which you had 3 number ones. But to me, they were a little hesitant in building from the back end. And
can you imagine, like, trying to tell those guys, like, Maddox would have been like cussing you off the mound, like, you're taking me out after 5, like,
what?
6? Have you seen the scoreboard? Like,
what?
No, get the hell off my mound. Like,
what is wrong with you? Right.
Those older guys, man, they didn't want, like, that was seen as a failure if they didn't go 8, 9 innings, basically.
Oh no,
I mean,
there'd be some cussing going on.
Oh,
they would not. there'd be some cussing going on. That's insane, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I tell you what, this has really been fun. We are at the 2-hour mark. John, please look it. Anytime you want to come back, man, please know that
Let's do it.
are welcome to do it because we love the Braves here. You know, we're willing to talk Braves anytime, Falcons, Hawks, whatever you want to talk. But look it, I've probably been watching the Braves for the better part of 48 years, man. So Chris loves the Braves. I love the Braves. I hate Debo couldn't make it, but I think he had Debo loves the Braves. So we talk Braves here. So anytime you want to get your Braves fix in, you are welcome, man. You are welcome.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate
and although it doesn't need to be said, dude, we miss you. We miss you.
Yeah.
We miss Mike.
You and Mike, man.
Let me tell you something. You guys have created, you've created your own space, man. And, you know, I just look it. I told the story. I'll tell it again. I will never forget you guys as long as I live because you guys were there for me at a time where I was at my lowest, right? And to those of you who don't know, my mom passed May 16th of 2024. So the first day I discovered your show, actually.
That's a hell of a day to discover it. My God.
Yeah, man. Because Jack had been telling me about you guys. He was like, you got to check. I was like, all right, fine. So I get the news that, you know, my mom probably doesn't have that long. I'm about to play some phone calls and upset some folks. And I'm just, you know, I'm upset about it. And I turn on your show and you're talking to Mike. I swear to God, I will never forget this. I take a swig of some red Faygo pop. I remember it like it was yesterday. This is water, but it'll be my prop. And you say to Mike, what's up with you? Why are you something like that? And Mike says, well, I just had sex and I came on the show and everything in my mouth came out across every window in my car. Like, really, Mike owes me some money, okay? I'm just saying, like, everywhere, right? And all of the food that I laughed. I laughed hysterically for about 20 minutes, and I probably needed it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
From that day forward, man, I will forever love you guys. And I think I speak for every fan out there. Man, we miss you. I'm just gonna be honest. We miss you. So I ain't nobody, but I hope that at least on some level, you guys come back. Maybe not every week. Look, I do this every week. I know what the commitment is. But the world is truly a better place with you guys out there in it, doing your podcasting thing, man. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point that. I'm not trying to put pressure on you, but I just want you to know we miss you. You got a home here. And brother, anytime you want to come and get whatever sports you want to talk about, you are welcome.
That means the world, dude. Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, we said it in our last show. It's like, which by the way, thank y'all for coming by on our last show. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was
no, it had to.
That was insane. That was 4 hours. It was it was insane. I
felt like it was the Oscars.
Right, it was so weird. That was so weird. And I told Mike before the show, I was like, I didn't know what to expect, and I was just kind of like, you know, I invited folks, but you know, you don't expect everybody to show up. You know, like I thought, you know, like you send out stuff, and it's like, you know, and I told him, I was like, hey, you know, you probably gonna have to host because I'm gonna be doing with the backstage and text and whatever, you know, the chat, whatnot. And he was like, I got it. And dude, he like just that was his Michael Jordan game right there. Like that was his flip. Like he just like. I was like, dude, where has this hosting ability been like the entire time we've done this show that you've made me do it?
He said, I always had it. I just been chilling. Johnny Yates, you just do such a great job.
That was it. That was it. But man, he like just blacked out and had did an amazing job with everybody. And then, you know, like that's what I said when everybody was gone and we were finishing the show, I was like, all right, I guess I'll talk now. Cause like, I just felt like I hadn't really even said anything. Cause like, he'd just been killing it, you know? And it was, but no, dude, we had such a good time with it. And like I said, the hope is that we are able to come back. Just his schedule is crazy right now. Mine is batshit nuts with the kid right now and just everything going on and work and whatnot. But and to you, dude, I got to give you your props. Amazing job hosting all the shows that you do, man. Like I love it. Like whenever I can catch you live, I make sure to catch you live. And Chris, you know I love you to death. And it's same with you guys. But I mean,
yes, sir.
Just jumping on it, man, and like, you know, starting with Jack and then jumping off and doing your own thing. Like, it's not easy, man. I know the time it takes to put into it. I know the behind the scenes stuff. I know it's not just turn on the camera and start talking. Like, it's not that easy. So like, that's major props to you, dude. I enjoy watching it. And like I said, I appreciate you inviting me on. And then, Mike will definitely come on and talk Falcons. He will, like nothing else, like Falcons, strippers, something like that. We're
Anytime
good.
Mike wants to come on, I love it, man. Hey, and I want to have you guys on, right? But
yeah, for sure.
The one thing I will say to you, John, is that your peers will tell you everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that you heard what your peers said, because we love you. And I don't say that because I'm trying to gas you up. We really appreciate the content that you brought forth, because yeah, it was jokes, but it was a lot of seriousness, but it was the perfect blend. And at the end of the day, man, as podcasters, we're just trying to reach people and make your day better. You know what I mean? Agree with us or not, fine. But we're just trying to make that connection. And that is one thing I hope you know, at least by the turnout of that last show, that you succeeded at, man. You definitely made an impact. And
100%. That definitely, that was, I had no words, man. I still don't. I still had no words after that show. I was just blown away. But I told Mike, I said, dude, if love and everything was that was over, then that's a success for us, man. Like, because that's what we wanted. We wanted to have fun with it, and we had no idea where it was going to go when we started, and it just morphed into what you guys saw, So it was just like, man. So yeah, it's just like I said, it was just bad timing with everything going on in our lives at the moment. So it was just kind of like, man, like, we didn't want to. I said it on the show, but we didn't want to like bring a half-assed product. We didn't want to be coming in like, and just we didn't want to hurt the show just based on us not having enough time to do it. So but I told it on the show when you said it too, that show you talked about, like, y'all, like, and I said this on the show, but Mike was literally putting his shirt on, like as I hit go live. As I hit go live, he's putting on his shirt, like, no shit. And I thought he was coming from the gym. I thought it was something like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he just got home from work and he wanted to change. I didn't know, but I was like, he's sweating a little bit. Like, why are you sweating? So like, yeah, it was hilarious. Like,
Mike is a wild dude, man. That, like, bro,
one of a kind. One of a kind.
Let me tell you something. Of the million things he could have said, I did not, and I'm so glad he said it.
I'm gonna tell you too.
I swear to God, I laughed for about 20 straight minutes, man. I could not stop laughing. I couldn't. And I think at that moment, I really needed that. Sometimes life is so heavy. You just need a win. You just need something. And that was it for me, man. And like I say, bro, anytime you want to talk Braves, let me. It don't matter what day it is, bro. I will get the crew together. We'll do it. It does not matter. I'm really looking forward to this season, guys. Maybe in the next couple of weeks before spring training ends, we can get together and maybe have our predictions, where we ultimately think the Braves are going to go or what they're going to do. We still got some moves that we can make, so we'll see. Yeah. But hey, to everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us.
I got to say, shout out to Millie, man. Millie, what's up, buddy? I know you came through there.
Millie, what's up, man? How goes it? Yeah. So again, shout out to everybody in the chat. John, I mean, I know you still don't regularly podcast, but you want to tell these folks where they can find you still?
Yeah, man. I mean, y'all still welcome to subscribe, to Out of Your Falcon Mind. Like I said, we left it open for a reason. So like hopefully we'll be able to chance to come back. So, if you're already subscribed, then don't leave, don't run away. Because we're still we're broadcasting this through the channel. So anytime I come back on with T-Will, we're going to do the same thing. So if y'all are watching it from our channel, make sure y'all go to For My ATL Sports and subscribe to T-Will, subscribe to A1. Fantastic content, Falcons, Hawks, anything Atlanta, man. Yeah, they cover it. So make sure y'all have they got you covered for a while. But you can still I'm not as active on the Twitter account, but I still got it for to interact when everything's happens. Out of Your Falcon Mind still there. And then if you want to follow Mike does our Instagram and TikTok, and a lot of times our TikTok has nothing to do with the Falcons, but it's just Mike being a dumbass, which is hilarious. So y'all can go follow him doing that.
Check it out.
Yeah. So follow Out of Your Falcon Mind on TikTok, and then I started basically like, so I told you too, like all my whole background is exercise science, right? So I kind of and Mike's been asking me for years to just basically do like a dedicated fitness kind of like account essentially. So,
Mhm.
so I was like, fine. So I finally did it. So like on TikTok and Instagram, it's Whiskey Fit Life, right? So it's just that.
Fit Life.
Yep. So if you want to follow me there, man, it's just I'm trying to do like, you know, not I want to do daily. I said that, and then I got the flu, and then that didn't happen, and now, but I'm better now. So like trying to give just you know, good, just everyday fitness advice, or you know, health, wellness, you name it, type of thing. There'll be some random other stuff in there too, music probably involved in it. But yeah, you're welcome to follow me there if you want to keep up with things there too. So, and man, T-Well, and thank y'all for having me. And I will definitely be back, man. I appreciate that. That was yeah, for sure.
Look, I'm just excited that we can make it happen, because we have been talking about doing it for so long, man. So you don't have to thank me. I thank you, because this has been a treat. I've enjoyed it. And hey, man, you know, like I say, one for the books, and the only way we can top it is to just come back and do it again. So we got to do that.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, A1, tell these folks where they can find you. Yeah, right. Like they don't know. Tell these folks where they can find you, A1.
Hey, man, A1 Forever Sports, you know, come on over. That's the platform on YouTube. You know, come on over, you know, have a sports conversation. Braves, Hawks, shoot, Falcons. You know, still growing that channel, even though I'm doing other things behind the scenes and in front of the camera on other platforms and everything. Because you can also catch me at the Hawks Digest as well. Just type it in on YouTube, man. It's a platform just dedicated solely to the Atlanta Hawks. Me and Walter Pollard, we're over there growing that channel right now, getting close to 1,000 subs, man. So
Let's go.
you know, yeah, man. So grateful for that. Shoot, man, what else? Just got a few things working on in the background as well. I know me and Smitty plan on doing some more shows. It's just you know how it is when you get busy, man, and you're just doing different things. It just get hard, you know. Then you still got to work.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Then there's that, you know. So.
yeah, there's that. So it's just like, you know, working on trying to get, what I'm saying, bills to be paid by sports, you know what I'm saying? But that's always a process. And, of course, other people got to say yes and, to the other ideas and everything. But yeah, definitely working in the background on some more things. And, you know what I'm saying? I would say TikTok. Well, I mean, my TikTok is still active, even though I don't have TikTok right now. Yeah, I was one of them people that deleted TikTok a long time ago and all that stuff like that. Even though I knew better, I just did it anyway. So I guess when the new TikTok, if there ever comes out or something like that, I guess I'll be able to start posting again on there then. But that's the real excuse me, not that's the real A1 Forever on TikTok. It's also A1 Forever on Twitter and Instagram, man. I say come on over, like, comment, subscribe. It's content everywhere that I got. So just, to come be a part of it.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen. Well, I'm sorry that happened with your TikTok, man. That's
Hey man, it's all good. It's all good, man. I'm not tripping. At the end of the day, I might have lost my TikTok, but hey, I was able to do a Brave show with T Will and John from Out of Your Falcon Mind, so I'll take that as a nice constellation.
Hey man, plus you can still log into your TikTok on your computer, and hey man, you out here doing big things anyway. Congratulations.
Yeah. I tried, man. They won't let me post though. I can't post on my phone and I can't post
on your computer.
And nah, man, they won't let me do nothing.
That's weird. Okay, that all right.
They won't let me do nothing. So I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is, man. But like again, man, thank you guys. It's, I'm saying, great show. Definitely got to get some more in, man. Definitely got to get some more in. It's gonna be a long season, boys, as far as the Braves. So we got plenty of time. Got plenty of games now.
Got some time, man. Definitely got to do that. Definitely got to check that out. Hey, to everybody who joined us in this chat, thank you so much. Look, we do this because we obviously love the Braves, Falcons, and Hawks, but we also do this because we obviously love you, because we couldn't do it without you, right? If nobody showed up, what's the point of doing it? So you could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to spend this morning with us. From the bottom of my hearts, our hearts, we want to thank you, appreciate you. And hey, just look forward to doing more shows with you guys. And thank you so much to everyone in the chat. John and Chris, thank you guys. I appreciate it. As always, it is work, but I just feel like there's nothing I'd rather talk about than my Braves, Hawks, or Falcons. I just think it's crazy that we get to sit up here, get in front of these cameras, and just talk about our favorite teams. Like, that's crazy.
I do. Well, isn't it cool too? Like the community that you know you create once you get into it. Like that's the one thing that we never expected. Like creating all the relationships and everything. Like that was like the coolest unexpected consequence of doing a show without because none of us would ever met.
Right. It's the best in the world. You know what I mean? Because
100%.
again, you walk away. I know I walk away feeling enriched because I learn stuff from you guys every day. Like every podcast I go on with everybody that I podcast, I like to learn. I like to learn something. It could be the tiniest little thing. I'm a nerd that way. My wife says I'm a nerd. Anyway, whatever. But I learned something from you guys. I learned something from you today about preparations. I just learned, right? So to me, look, life is about growth, man. You know, life is about growth. I'm 54 years old. I'd like to say I'm different than I was when I was 44. My wife would probably not agree. She'd probably think I'm the same old jabron that I've been, whatever. But look, life is about growth. And that is one of the great things of being in this podcast of business is you meet so many intelligent people doing what you're doing. And you just, iron sharpens iron, man. So I love it. But hey, to everybody who joined this show, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. To the Braves, good luck. If you happen to like, share, and subscribe, again, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe to Out of Your Falcon Mind. Of course, A1 Forever Sports and Hawks Digest and every other 38 things that Chris is doing. He's out there. He's a man of the people. Chris is out here doing his thing.
Trying to leave my mark. That's all, man.
Hey, that's all we can do, right? Of course, I'm a member of One Time for the Fan. Shout out to Mr. Jack Spade, Miss Carrie, and Bodie 3000. I was about to call Bodie Debo. I'm so sorry, Bodie. Bodie 3000. Shout out to you. Definitely, hey man, please like, share, subscribe to One Time for the Fan, and please like, share, subscribe to my channel for my NTL Sports 1 on YouTube, as we need it. And so put us in the algorithm so we can continue to bring you hopefully great programming. Hopefully it was at least good. Look, we tried. We do the best we can every day. And we'd like to continue to do that. So again, thank you guys. Thank you to my brother Eric Parker and Jack Spade for giving me my start in this business. You guys have an amazing day. Go Braves, go Falcons, go Hawks. John, Chris, I will see you guys. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.
Yes, sir.